We know the pandemic has put a spotlight on our schools. There's more people invested in the conversation around education than ever before.
So we are getting to know the people running to be the next state superintendent. Christy Diaz sat down with each of the candidates. This week, it's Currey Hitchens.
What do you think is the biggest threat facing education right now?
Of course, one of them is the issue of teaching truth, but also I think that too many of our schools have gone down a path of putting too many kids into the school to prison pipeline. So I want to stop that as well. It's about the quality of education. I want to do everything I can to make education higher quality in Georgia. And it includes all of these things: teaching people the truth, getting better funding and more equitable funding, making sure teachers are treated respectfully and paid accordingly as well.
What about vaccine mandates?
I want to weigh in or talk to folks in public health about this. But as you know, a lot of vaccines are required to go to school. I have 2 kids in school. I know they had to get their vaccines. We may need to require this vaccine as well, just like we do many other vaccines, not for any other reason than the same reasons that we require the other vaccines, to prevent the spread of these diseases and to protect everyone in the classroom.
How well do you work with those you disagree with?
Actually, that's one thing an attorney does all the time. So I have to work with people I disagree with on a daily basis. And I'd say I work really well with them. I know that's going to happen definitely in this position. I work with school systems and attorneys for school systems, and we have a cordial relationship, even in sort of heated times sometimes. But that is exactly like what is supposed to happen when you're strongly advocating for, your client.
What is your position on critical race theory? Should it be taught in schools? And if so, at what age do you think it's appropriate?
As I'm sure you're aware, critical race theory is not taught in kindergarten through 12 schools in any state probably, and definitely not in Georgia. And where it should be taught is exactly where it is taught right now in law school. It's exactly where it should be. I think the truth is being taught in a lot of classrooms, and that's a good thing. Of course, we need it to be an age-appropriate level. I think it's definitely better than teaching them something that they're going to find out later was inaccurate.
So as an attorney, how does your experience intersect with education?
First, I was a teacher. I taught for a couple of years and I have a master's in education. And what I do as an attorney is represent students in education cases. I represent students in their individualized education programs, or IEPs, as a lot of people call them, and working those out with the school. One of the main things is that I have actually represented students. I don't think anyone else really has in this race. And also, I grew up in a family of teachers. Both my parents were teachers in Georgia, and I was almost born in a school basically because my mom was pregnant and teaching. So I basically had my whole lives in school.
And that was just a very small snippet of our conversation. We talked about everything from teacher burnout to budget. You can watch my full interview with Currey Hitchens up on 11alive.com. And next week, you'll get to know candidate James Morrow.